Our last appeal is exactly 4 weeks ago, Thursday the 10th of May. This is Cambridgeshire. Tiny villages, open fields and farmland scatter the countryside. Just south of Newmarket is the village of Upend. Michael Smith has lived here for 2 years. He's an antiques dealer. On Thursday, May the 10th, he spent the day at an interior design fair a few miles away in the village of Duxford. At about 6 o'clock, he returned home, planning to stay in that evening with a friend. 50 miles north in Norfolk, a new bypass is being built on the A140, just outside Dickleborough. Martin Taylor is a materials engineer. He'd been working on the bypass, sleeping on site in his Volkswagen Dormobile. It was about 10 o'clock when Martin went to sleep.
We've compiled a handful of extraordinary and very ugly crimes tonight. Do please bear in mind just how extraordinary, how unusual offences like these are. On the whole, our society really is a caring and supportive one, and witness the huge volume of helpful calls that have been coming in tonight. On the whole, our society really is...
Back in Upend, Michael and Kevin watched Crimewatch that evening because a Cambridgeshire case was being featured.
Nightmares, do please sleep well. Good night.
Good night.
I'm off to bed.
OK. I'm going to have a bath first.
OK, good night.
Good night.
Who is it? What do you want?
Excuse me, can you help me? I've got a flat tire.
I say, what time is it?
Open the door.
No, I'm not coming out. Who are you?
Open the bloody door. I've got a gun. Come on, open the door.
Okay. What do you want?
Right, we want your car. Give us your keys. Come on, give us the keys. Right, get out. You're coming with us?
Can I put my trousers on?
Yeah, that's all you need. Right, come on. Do as you're told, you won't get hurt. Lie down there in the back.
Martin remembers they turned right out of the site onto the A140 towards Dickleborough. During the journey, they stopped twice on rough ground. At least one of them seemed to know exactly where he was going. They drove Martin 25 miles away to Thetford Forest.
Rick, this is where you get out. Lay face down. Jim said he'd be there at 2. It's 5 past now. This is private property. You shout and holler and you'll get shot.
As soon as the men had gone, Martin freed himself. In his bare feet, he walked through the forest for 3.5 miles. It was an hour later, at about 1:30, when he finally came to a phone box from where he called the police. It would also have taken about an hour to drive the 30 miles to Michael Smith's house in Upend.
Lie still! Don't get up and you won't get hurt. Roll over on your face. Where do you keep your valuables?
There's a diamond ring in the vase on the dressing table.
The same man then told me to take my wristwatch off, which I tried to do behind my back, but I had difficulty with it because there's a safety catch that needs to be released.
Yes?
I was told to hurry up, and then I was hit with what I think was a clenched fist on the left side of my head. I managed to get the wristwatch off, and then my hands were tied behind my back very tightly. Then we were both pushed out of the bed over to the banister of the spiral staircase.
Where do you keep your smalls?
Well, most of it's to the fair at Duxford. I left it there today.
You liar! Where's your bloody jewellery? We know you got lots of jewellery.
Okay. It's downstairs, in the dining room, in a cardboard box.
One of them obviously knew something about the antiques trade because he asked me, where do you keep your smalls? Smalls is a term to describe porcelain, china, silver, brasses, anything that can be packed into boxes.
I can't find the bloody jewellery. Where is it?
In a cardboard box, between the cabinets in the dining room.
You all right, Mike?
Yes, I'm okay.
Shortly afterwards, the one downstairs called up that he'd found it. We could hear him moving about directly underneath us. The other one, he wasn't quite so aggressive. He was making rather a fuss of the dog, stroking it.
Come on now, Georgie. You all right there, mate?
Patrick! I'm gonna take the car. I'll be about 20 minutes.
You can't leave us like this. We might be here for days.
I'm not a merciless bastard. I'll call the police.
Where are the keys to the BMW?
They're on a bunch in the front door.
How do you turn those floodlights off outside?
Oh, you can't. It doesn't turn off. You can't switch it off.
Well, you better not bloody move, or we'll blow your brains out. Come on.
You all right, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. You?
I'm fine.
It was nearly 3 in the morning when the men finally left. As well as Michael's BMW, they took about £50,000 worth of antiques and jewellery. Well, Mr. Craig, the gunmen didn't call the police, in fact, did they?
No, they didn't. In fact, it took the two men about 2.5 hours to get themselves free, and in fact, one of them notified the police just before 5 a.m. If this was a premeditated failure on the intruder's behalf to notify the police, then obviously it shows how callous they were, and obviously shows a lack of concern for the safety of the victims.
What actual information do you have about these two gunmen?
The descriptions are quite vague. Obviously, both wore masks. The main indication we have is the fact that they both had strong Irish accents, and also the fact that they referred to names of Fitzpatrick or Patrick, Georgie or Geordie, and the kidnapped man also heard a reference to a man by the name of Jim.
Right. Now, they actually travelled some distance that night through the country of Norfolk, into Cambridgeshire and then back again. The two men kidnapped Martin Taylor and stole his red Astra from Dickleborough. They probably drove along the A1066, which is the most direct route to Thetford Forest, where Martin was tied up and left. The men then drove his Astra some 30 miles to Highfield House in Upend, where the burglary took place. The red Astra was found in the early hours of the morning on a farmer's track just half a mile away. It was completely burnt out. Michael Smith's BMW convertible was stolen from his home by the two men. In the village of Starston, some 50 miles away, the BMW was abandoned and set on fire. And if you could have seen either of those two cars, remember it was Thursday, the 10th of May. What exactly did the men steal?
One of the principal items that they stole, in fact, was a clock, a French 8-day mantle clock, which is quite valuable, together with a substantial amount of silverware and jewellery, which came to about £45,000 or £50,000 in value.
There is a reward on offer, isn't there, for these two?
Yes, indeed, there is quite a substantial reward. This was obviously a well-planned job. The men were quite violent, and obviously they need to be stopped. And I would mention the fact that the times that we referred to during the course of the film, in fact, may be somewhat vague. Bear in mind that the people involved had been asleep and weren't quite precise about the times themselves.
Mr. Craig, thank you very much indeed. And if you can help to offer a clue as to who those two men are, please give us a ring here now on 081 811 8055, or ring the Cambridge Incident Room direct on 0223 358 966. That's 0223, the code for Cambridge, 358 966.
So don't have nightmares, do please. Sleep well. Good night.
Good night.